Happy Wednesday, and it's time for a new vlog. Alrighty, let's get started. This one's going to be relatively shorter. I say that every single time, but I do really mean it. Gonna try to keep this under 15 minutes here. Uploaded a new video on my main channel yesterday. Still on the groove with some new, I don't even really know what to call it anymore, because it's like a lot of you all have given like really good feedback, and I did actually read a lot of comments, which there were a lot on a lot of videos posted on posted to Jagix's social media on their like RS3 social media accounts, YouTube channel, and also on Facebook and X. By the way, if you do use Facebook and X and would like to follow me, I'm fairly active on mine. Nightmare RH on both of them. Definitely check me out. Probably going to add that to the bung board as well too. Otherwise, it's like the damage has really been done to call it a integrity like new phase of the game. If anything, it really should be called RuneScape 4 in my opinion, but I was actually talking to a couple people last night, and apparently the name RuneScape 3 was definitely motivated to be a push for marketing. And that's why it was called like RuneScape 3. Now naming it RuneScape 3 obviously was probably not like the best thing to do on the planet. It should have just been stuck to the name RuneScape, because hypothetically, wait for it, hold on, need some throat lubrication. Hypothetically, if we were to go back into 2013 July when RuneScape 3 came out, it would really, if Jagex just kept it as RuneScape, and if they changed like having old school RuneScape and then RuneScape would probably be a lot more like making sense to new players that have never heard of RuneScape before. It's like, hey, you have never played RuneScape. Okay, well, here is RuneScape modern day, and then we have old school RuneScape that is gameplay from a different time period. See which one you like. And it really feels that so many new players that are coming to RuneScape is choosing old school RuneScape, but they also don't know the friggin' history. Believe it or not, I actually know some people that actually do not know the history, and they just started playing old school RuneScape back in 2019 and 2020. Primarily during Rona lockdowns, we did gain a lot of new players on old school RuneScape, but once again, where did the new players go to? They went on old school RuneScape. So it's just pretty comical. If the name does change to RuneScape 4, that's probably not the best thing. Jagex should just really call RuneScape 3 just RuneScape at this clearing point. Obviously, old school RuneScape is going to be forever remembered and forever known to have like, you know, very much old school RuneScape content. It's not going to be anything new, but definitely check out that video if you want to see some new graphical changes. Let alone, I went to Bandos. Obviously, God War's Dungeon is not gone a redo just yet. Hopefully it does, okay? Old school RuneScape sailing, now I got old school RuneScape in my mind. Sailing on RuneScape is going amazing. We're still on track to get 99 by February 6th. I'll be posting a video early next week about all the details, so make sure you stay tuned for that info as well. Otherwise, today's topic that I really want to dive into here is really what will be my next 120 on old school RuneScape. Yes, hubba hubba hubba. Well, it's hooba 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 hubba hubba hubba. Mr. Numbnuts, get it right. What will be my next 120? So obviously I have 120 cooking. Why did I get 120 cooking here? It's basically because this game is going to get to a point where you need to, or it's gonna. I don't believe the old school RuneScape team is going to make the total levels necessarily change. On RuneLight, you can actually do an overlay change to actually have 120 stats, and maybe something graphical change. Do I think there should be like 120 skills on old school RuneScape? There probably will be, honestly, in the far future, but right now, in this current day, I really don't believe that that really should be like the focus of the game. By all means, getting a max cape on this game is still a friggin' challenge. So doing a 120, that would be very much obsessive. Now, it did take me a little over 3.5 months to get 120 cooking. I did it at a Dragon Slayer 2 range, which I was cooking over 1,400 fish an hour, and it was a lot of GP. I was making like over anywhere between 800 to as high as maybe 1.2, 1.3 mil an hour. I think some hours even more. It was a decent amount of GP. Obviously, for Hunter, I have a massive amount of XP over the last 2 years. Almost 2 years of doing birdhouse runs. I'm very much retired from doing birdhouse runs. For whatever reason, if birdhouse nests ever go back up in value, I started doing birdhouse runs pretty much April, so when they were around this period here, and I made utter bank. If they ever go back up in value, maybe around 6K each, then I'll probably start doing them again. So that could very much be my next 120 on this game. But honestly, I was really thinking about this. The only thing that really it lacks is pretty much the GP. Doing sailing, it's not like an insane amount of XP, but it is just very relaxing focused per se. Maybe in the future, if dragon hooks actually do come down significantly, maybe I'll pick them up. But I mean, right now I'm gaining I still haven't checked it per se, but I know that I'm gaining over 80k an hour, definitely probably below 95k an hour. With the dragon hook, probably could be closer to 100k an hour. That is honestly really nothing compared to the amount of XP I got in cooking. Believe it or not, I was getting over 250k, depending on what fish I was doing, as high as 300k and maybe even higher XP an hour. That is actually a lot of XP for a very passive, like, hey, go ahead and just click on your bank in a range and do some fish here. What I would really love, honestly, is I would really love to get 120 fletching, man. I think that would be pretty awesome. For those of you that have followed me significantly since 2009, 2010 on RuneScape 2, I ended up making bank. I ended up getting 140 million fletching XP, and I was making so much GP back then. And all I was doing was stringing I was taking bowstrings and stringing them to like unstrung bows. A lot of people honestly did not believe me when I was saying that, because a lot of people thought I was doing some crazy method as like some arrows. But I'm like, no, I'm buying these bowstrings super low in mass quantity on the Grand Exchange. And this was also before we had free trade. Totally different topic, but there was a point in time where you were not allowed to actually really trade with people outside of a range. So it is such a forgotten period on this game. Never happened on old school RuneScape, but if you wanted to keep it simple, if you wanted to sell an item to someone for 100 GP, you could only go 10% higher or lower on that item. So if I wanted to sell you 1,000 bowstrings, I could only sell it to the max of 110,000. However, when you're selling stuff in mass quantities or buying stuff in mass quantity, you can actually go higher significantly. Now, during that period, you were not allowed to do that. During like 2006 and 2007, when I did a lot of merchanting many, many years ago, I would actually sell stuff at a very high premium in mass quantities. But during that time period where I got 120, where I essentially got 120 fletching on RS2, there was no real 120. There is no virtual 120s out. 120 Dung Bunganeering did come out, believe it or not. But like 120 fletching didn't have its own cape or something like that. But I wouldn't really mind doing fletching. But here's the catch. For me to really get another 120 on this game, it would really have to be two things like straight up. One is that I would have to profit when it comes to GP. I did make a lot of GP when it came to 120 cooking. I believed I ended up making I have a video on it. I honestly can't remember off the top of my head. Hold on one second. Let me pull up a handy dandy calculator here. 104 million XP. Let's go in minus 13 million XP. We're left with 91 million XP divided by, let's call it 275,000 XP for 1K. 330. On average, I was making probably about, let's go ahead and say 900,000 GP. So 330 times 900. Yeah, holy bananas. I was actually going to say I made a couple hundred mil. I know I definitely have a video on this, but 120 cooking produced me a lot of GP. A lot of GP I made. A lot. By just cooking fish, I ended up making close to 300 GP, give or take. That is a lot of GP. So what would make me do another 120? The GP would have to definitely be there, and the XP would have to definitely be there too. Sailing XP is definitely partially there. I mean, it's so nice to really AFK this thing. I got to make another video tomorrow probably talking about this, but one of my friends literally checked out my high scores like last month, and my sailing was like level 20. Actually, I think it was more like maybe 30 or 40, and now boom, I'm about to be level maybe, yeah, I'm going to be level 9. I'll be level 95 tonight. So very big boost of XP up significantly. However, if Jagex adds a new sailing spot, such as a new salvaging spot, which they could, maybe the XP rate's going to be higher. I mean, if there are going to be 120, and the whole reason that I'm doing 120s on this game is because I really do believe there will be a 120 cape someday, and I think the 120 sailing cape is just going to be awesome. Not to mention, I mean, if you have nothing else to do on your account, you might as well just chip away at 120 skills, right? Don't worry about raiding. You know, who wants to do raiding? But otherwise, yeah, for me to really get a 120, the money has to be there, and also the XP has to be there too. Obviously, the money really stopped with birdhouse runs, so obviously I stopped, training it. Maybe someday I'll definitely start this back up again. Fletching, I don't really believe that the GP is necessarily there. Highly recommend anyone that just wants to AFK some cooking and make a lot of GP, do Dragon Slayer 2. I know it's a pain in the ass, but it is such a great thing to unlock, and the cooking range is phenomenal. It's right next to the bank, and it's a one-click off. It's pretty cool. Okay, I think that pretty much wraps up today's vlog. New video on my main channel probably tomorrow. Stay tuned for the video about the Drop Party 99 sometime next week. Otherwise, take it easy, everyone. Be safe, as always, and like this video if you found value in today's. Let me know in some nasty, dirty little comments what you think about what 120 would you get if you wanted to actually get a 120 on this game. Otherwise, see you all tomorrow, and later.